everyone, I'm Christina.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're from the Wild Pet Stores in Charleston, South Carolina.
Today we are going to be talking about raw food diets for cats and dogs.
We're going to answer some of the common questions that we receive about feeding raw food diets, as well as to address some of the occasional concerns that we hear. So to start it out, first question would just be, what is a raw food diet?
So a raw food diet is literally a raw meat diet for cats and dogs. It is made up of raw muscle meat, raw organ meat, raw ground up bone, and also some raw fruits and vegetables. It mimics what your cat or your dog would eat in the wild. So you're left with the essential nutrients that they need in order to thrive and live a happy life. It is free of fillers and starches, which we love. So makes it very wholesome.
It's, like Jordan said, it's what they would eat in the wild. So the next common question we receive is, why should I feed a raw food diet? And in short, that's the answer. But to elaborate on that a little bit, our dogs and our cats are carnivores. So their natural diet would consist of the raw prey that they would catch and consume right there on the spot, including the raw muscle meat, the raw organs, the bones they would gnaw on. They would even eat some of the hide and the fur. They would eat most of the animal, in fact.
Yeah.
So I know what you're thinking. My dog or my cat is not a wild animal. I mean, they lay around all day on my couch, and they're very snugly domesticated. I'll give you that. However, the truth is that, biologically speaking, they are still very much the same as their ancestors. Their bodies are designed to not only eat and protect against any dangers of eating that food, but to really thrive off of it. So that's why we see so many benefits come from feeding the raw food diet. It's because it's what we call a species-appropriate diet. It eliminates all the ingredients that are not natural to their biology, and it only delivers the ones that their bodies really know how to break down and absorb the nutrients from. As a result, we see some awesome benefits, from the everyday to even more extreme examples. The everyday would be that excessive licking and scratching that so many of you are dealing with, that we see every day in the stores. One of the most common things that drives people to the raw food diet, because those ingredients, those starches and fillers that we mentioned before, are one of the main triggers of those behaviors. In addition to that, we can see it help with more serious conditions like joint issues from arthritis, like pancreatitis. We've seen it help with diabetes, cancerous growths, obesity. So many things come from feeding a species-appropriate diet that their body really thrives off of. And we see a lot of health and wellness restored as a result of that. So in short, that would be why. That's why we get so excited about it, and that's why so many of our customers have switched to it, and why they get so excited about it. But that brings us to the next question.
So how do I do it? How do I feed raw food? It is actually so easy.
It is.
It really is. You have to thaw it and serve it. You don't have to cook it. You don't have to mix anything into it. It's just thawing and serving. It comes in, at least the ones in our store, it will come in different shapes like patties or nuggets, or you can get it in a tube, which is kind of like your bulk option. You would just need to cut it up yourself. Take about 4 days worth of food, put it in your refrigerator, store the rest in your freezer, and just as you feed from your refrigerator, you pull more out of your freezer and put it in your fridge. So it's very simple. You can do 1 meal a day if you'd like. That would mimic more of how your animal would, eat in the wild, especially, for adult animals more than anything. But it's simple. I think that's the biggest thing with raw food, is that it's easy. The primary difference between raw food and what you're feeding now, like a canned or a kibbled diet, is where you store it. Your shelf-stable foods like canned or kibbled diets are going to be stored in your pantry, and then your raw food, because it's fresh, real food, is stored in the refrigerator or the freezer. So that's your biggest differences. It's still pretty simple to do.
Because it's fresh, it's unprocessed,
Yes.
It's real food. So it's just like us eating a real food, a whole food diet, as some people call it, versus a packaged or processed food diet. And once you've kind of mastered how to feed it, which is fairly simple, as Jordan said, the next most common question is, how do I make the switch? How am I going to transition to this food? Well, this is something that we like to answer on a case-by-case basis when you come in the store because there are different variables that may affect how you decide to transition to a raw food diet. So some pets and pet parents will make the switch overnight, and so to go cold turkey, so to speak. And a lot of those pets do great. They start to see the changes and the benefits right away. Dogs and cats, they both tend to go crazy for it and get excited about it. So that makes it easier as well. In other situations, whether it be because of digestive history or a health condition or just because of the pet parent's comfort level, you may choose to do a much slower transition, which is equally fine to do as well. Either way that you decide to go when you come into the store, we're going to get some key information from you to help formulate a plan for your specific case and how to make this switch. So we're going to find out about your pet's digestive history. We're going to find out what they're eating right now or have been eating most of their lives. We're going to find out about any sensitivities or health conditions going on. We're also going to find out how much they weigh and, around their approximate age as well. And with that information and our handy magical food chart calculator that we have here in the store, we can determine exactly how much they need to eat of the food that you're interested in switching to, and we can even determine the percentages of the new food and the old food, give you exact amounts for each step of the transition. You'll also leave with information in your hand about making the transition, about feeding it, and with those numbers that we're going to determine for you. And to top it all off, if you don't even know your pet's weight, you can bring them in.
Yes.
We do have the pet scales here, and you can put them on the scale. We'll get a current and accurate weight for you right here.
Yeah. So, in short, with all of that, it is easy. It is. I think one of our last points is, people ask, is it safe? I think a lot of people kind of get hung up with that. It's raw meat. Can I feed that to my pet?
You mean they can eat it
Right.
raw?
Raw? Yes, absolutely. They can eat it raw. If you look at a cat or a dog's digestive tract, it is very short. So that means food is meant to go through very quickly. They have highly acidic stomachs, and those stomachs are designed to, kill bacteria. And if you look at their mouth, they have a hinged jaw that doesn't grind back and forth. They have no flat molars, and they have very sharp teeth. And all of that points to ripping and tearing flesh and meat from a bone and gnawing on bones. So if you kind of look at the way they're set up, you can tell, hey, they're designed to eat something raw and fresh. And they thrive on it. They do so well. I think another thing folks might get hung up on is it safe for me to handle? Absolutely. You handle it the same way you would the meat that you get from your grocery store. Just follow the USDA guidelines for handling raw meat. Wash your hands. Wipe down a counter. Easy as that.
That's pretty much it. We're here to answer any questions you may have, as well as to go into your specific situation and your needs, and to address those case-by-case things that we talked about earlier. So if you have other questions or you're ready to make the switch, just come let us know, and we'll be happy to talk to you further. It's what we're here to do. It's what we love to do.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
don't hesitate. That wraps it up, you guys.
Thank you for watching, and if you have questions, like Christina said, let us know. Love talking about it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.